In this week's episode, we take a look at episodic games, and do they really work? We also give our thoughts on Netflix Punisher Season 2. This is Advanced Level Video Game Podcast, and the podcast starts right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Advanced Level of Video Game Podcast. My name is Felipe Prada, and with me, as always, is the Post Office Playboy, the Overwatch Overlord, the Video Game Vindicator, your friend and mine, Oscar Portillo. Oscar, did you like your intro?
The Post Office. What was it? What?
Post Office Playboy.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So what's going on, man? I'm
good. How are you?
Good. Getting ready for that Resident Evil game.
Yeah, man. I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they decided to remake it. It's pretty much, I'm telling you, it's gonna be Game of the Year. But can we really categorize it as Game of the Year if it's a remake?
I think no. Sorry, it's just not.
Yeah.
I'm putting a firm stance on no.
Wow, that's a hard no.
yeah. It's a remake. It's a remake
of Resident Evil. No, but I definitely get you. You know what? I wanted to talk about episodic content. Now, we've all gotten used to watching, episodic seasons, right? Netflix is littered with them right now.
Right.
But does the formula carry over to video games? Now, you have a little bit more of experience with episodic games than I do, because the episodic games that I've played, they've already been released, pretty much as sort of like a bundle.
What have you played?
The Telltale Borderlands game. By the way, rest in peace, Telltale.
Yeah.
I have a glass of water with me, and I'm not going to pour it on the ground because my wife would get mad at me. I played the Borderlands game, and my very first, foray into the whole, episodic content was Back to the Future.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, which was last gen console. Other than
didn't you play Batman?
Only the first episode.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it sounds good on paper, but for some strange reason, for me, it doesn't really translate all that well. The only game that I guess have seen that it translated somewhat well is the Hitman franchise. Only because between episodes, there are challenges and there's stuff to do in between those episodes.
Yeah, you don't really. I know they advertise it as episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. From what I understand, it's more like levels. Am I correct about that? Or is it...
That's what I'm thinking, because I haven't played the Hitman game.
Okay.
But I think it is levels or certain maps. Each episode is a different map.
They just advertise it as
exactly.
episode.
Exactly.
I don't quite think it's the same thing as like a Telltale or the Life is Strange games like that.
So, have you played Life is Strange?
Yeah, I have. I've played, yes.
You played all of it?
The first season I did, yes.
Now, when you bought Life is Strange, did all the episodes already come included, or did you have to wait?
I believe I bought the bundle, but the entire season wasn't out yet.
Wasn't out yet. So, how long in between each episode did you have to wait for the next episode to launch?
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. I can't put a finger on that. Okay. I know the Walking Dead games.
Yeah, how long did you have to wait?
That first season, we're talking about a few months.
Really?
5 or 6 months between episodes.
Don't you think that's a little too long?
It is, and they definitely tried to later on with the Batman games and the later seasons of The Walking Dead. They got better at it. Obviously not good enough that they're in the situation that they're in. But speaking of which, the newest episodes are coming out already.
Yes, I have read. Yes. Which I know I've been saying that I've been wanting to get into The Walking Dead. I still haven't played it.
You're not going to get it. It's not going to happen.
It is. You know what? I don't like that tone that you have with me right now.
Because they've been out.
I know. Disc. You told me about Overwatch and I didn't get it. And now I'm heavily into Overwatch. But I don't know. Maybe it's because for me the whole episodic thing, I don't know, it just doesn't grab my attention. I don't want to pay something and then not get all the content right away. That's
a good argument. That's why later on I stopped, because I was like, it's not that I don't like that I don't like the waiting.
Yeah, to me that's the big issue. To me that's what's preventing me. Yeah,
I'm one of those that I will get it, but when all the episodes are out.
Yeah, like when I played the Telltale Borderlands games, it was great. Once I finished one episode, I was on to the next, so on and so forth. If I would have bought the Batman game, I'm pretty sure it would have been the same. Even Back to the Future, when I bought it, I believe I bought the whole season, but the season was already out already.
Yeah.
And let me clarify one thing, and this goes to all developers. You can't say, like, okay, we're coming out with, a season pass, right? And I don't know if I'm going off topic here, and that's why I'm asking you, if I do go off topic, kind of reel me in a little bit.
Yeah, I got you.
You can't say, okay, we're releasing a season 1 DLC and just release just one season. Then you can't call it a season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's like, just call it an expansion. Now, if, let's say, for the sake of somebody like Square Enix, they originally had season 2, it just got canceled. Okay, I get it.
No, that's different.
That's different, but in Telltale's, okay, this is the Telltale season. Okay, if they leave it at season, okay, I'm fine with it. But they can't say, oh, this is season 1, and just not release another season. That means it's just an expansion. It's not a season. Like
I think it's different when it comes to those type of games.
Overwatch. What's the other game? Oh my god, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Rainbow Six Siege. Like, when you're in those seasons, even Diablo 3 just announced their newest season, which they're heavy into seasons now.
But I think that's Overwatch and Rainbow Six. That's a different type of season than...
We're talking about specifically episodic content.
Right.
Or DLC, whatever you want to call it.
Because for Overwatch, Season 14 is it just represents a certain amount of time. It's not... They didn't release anything.
Now, does the newest season represent the Year of the Pig? Or is that something completely different?
That's something different.
Okay, all right.
That's not
See,
even...
I'm confusing it. And, before we go on, I wanted to publicly apologize for what I did in Overwatch. It's on record. There's no hiding it. Now, the previous season that just took place, obviously one of the events was Anna's new skin. And you know where I'm going with it. You know where I'm going with this. I wanted to get it publicly on record. I messed up.
You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I'm putting myself out there.
Okay,
right?
okay.
And I have, listen, I'm what, almost 40, and I'm still trying to figure life out.
I know. We're all trying to. We're all in the same.
Obviously, the objective or the challenge was win 9 games to unlock Anna's suit. That's pretty much what it was, right?
Yeah,
9 games.
you got some icons, but the main thing was the skin.
Yeah, and I really wanted the skin. Somewhere along the line, I misinterpreted what the challenge was, and I honestly thought that you had to win 9 games with Anna in order to unlock her skin. That's the thing. Listen, I
you read that.
I misread emails all the time. I misread texts all the time. I don't know why. I wish I had an explanation, but
I can see maybe why you thought that. It makes sense in a way.
Right.
With Anna's event, you would have to play as her.
Yeah, and in the midst of that, our rank severely dropped because of my my carelessness.
Yeah, I think our season's over pretty much.
Yeah, we had a pretty bad season,
but I mean, it's not over. But I'm saying it's hard to get out of the hole that we're in.
Yeah. Once you told me, dude, you just need to win 9 matches.
Well, hold on. You're not explaining. I was like, I think I told you, like, what do you do? Like, there's Widow. I think it's like Widow is a better sniper. I'm not sure why you.
Yeah. So you questioned my tactics, and we were playing in competitive mode.
I hate to. I'm not that guy.
No, yes, you are.
With people, not
yes,
with people that I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I am that guy with strangers.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, because I feel like we're getting off topic.
We're going off topic.
Our competitive season severely dropped because I continued to use Anna, and
when you could have used any
other character. So when you
still got the skin.
Yeah, when you told me about it, I felt believe me when I tell you, I felt terrible about it. I remember when I turned off
no offense to Anna, but she's not the greatest.
No, she's not. She's not. And after you kindly reminded me that that's not what it is, and I switched over to Moira and Zarya, we started winning again.
Yeah, we were back to...
Oh my God, I was single-handedly sabotaging our season. And so
I don't like to blame it on one person.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
And I turned off the TV, and you know how sometimes you turn off the TV, but you can still see your reflection?
Yeah.
I'm looking at, I'm like, how dare you? Like, you're better than this. And I was kind of like yelling at myself through the TV. But you know what? It's out in the open.
Yeah.
I publicly apologize. Now we can move forward. See,
Back to that.
my whole thing with the seasons, it sounds good on paper. I'm pretty sure it was a good idea, but in the sense of Telltale, once you finish that episode, do you really go back and play it again?
No.
Be honest.
No, because you're waiting. For me, I know if you look on YouTube, there are people that will play the episodes again
Really?
because there are different branching paths.
Oh, and they're like the completionists. They want to see all the narrative branches.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, if you're that type of player, then go right ahead. But realistically,
No,
how
I'm not.
often do-
I'm not that type. Like
Yeah,
I
me
like
neither.
to. That's my playthrough, and that's it.
yeah, it's a one and done deal. So
Right, for me.
you have to wait however much time in between each episode, and of course, you're gonna forget what you played previously.
I mean, I will say there is a recap. They do give you a recap of what you did.
Okay,
There's like a last time on.
sort of like a TV, like last time on so and so.
Yeah, so they do that.
Okay, well that's good.
I'm okay with some time, but it took a long time at points where like, oh, I forgot sometimes I even had it. And,
Now, besides Telltale, there really isn't that many other games that are episodic.
I know Life is Strange again.
Well, yeah,
that's-
Life is Strange, and then you have Hitman, which was kind of like it's not episodic, more of like, oh, it's just content drops that they just disguise.
Yeah, that's a
that
good way to
episodic.
put it. I was trying to figure out a word to it, but
Yeah,
that's
it's
a good way
content
to
drop.
put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, in that episode, in that instance, I'm sorry, not episode, in that instance, in between each episode, you still have things to do, challenges, different targets. So if you're using episodic content in that framework, of course that's going to work a little bit better because you still have stuff to do in the meantime until the next episode drops, so that you can kind of build on it. But a game like Telltale or Life is Strange, that's it. Once you play one episode, you have to wait a month, and I'm like, oh, really? Like, I paid for the game, and this can go more into like the whole like sort of like pre-order content where you pre-order a game but you don't have the game. Like if I'm buying a game, I want all the content. That's why when they had originally said, which I don't know if it's still true or not, that the Final Fantasy VII remake was going to be episodic.
If that turned you off?
How you felt about finding out the full price of Resident Evil, the remake, that's how I feel about Final Fantasy VII now. If they still decide to go down that route, which I don't know if they are, I don't know if they aren't.
How would that make sense? How would that even like?
It would, from what I read, it's 3 episodes. And it makes sense because I don't know if you played the original Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation. It came in 3 discs.
Yeah, is that how they would do it?
I think that's how they would do it because once you leave Midgar, that was okay. You needed to switch discs. Then once you got to a certain area, you needed to switch the disc again. So I'm thinking they're kind of focusing on that sort of episodic content. Like, okay, you leave one major area, that's the end of episode 1. But will there be enough things to do, or in the meantime, while they release episode 2? That's my concern because I don't want to finish the episode and it's like, all right, now I gotta wait, even though I bought the game. Like that bothers me.
But you can always wait. I mean, you can wait. I know it's
Oh no.
tough.
In certain instances, like you said, it's better if you wait. Unfortunately, the early adopters, we keep saying it over and over, they suffer. And I think in this instance with episodic content, for me, it's just it's a deal breaker for me.
Let me ask you, was Resident Evil Revelations episodic or no?
But when I bought it, it all came bundled.
Okay.
All the episodes were already out because when I bought it, it was on sale. And mind you, since Resident Evil's close, Resident Evil Revelations 2, severely underrated. It is a very, very good game because it went back to the sort of close quarters, inventory management type of Resident Evil that we're used to.
How are the episodes laid out?
The episodes were laid out where you played one episode as Claire, and the reason why I really wanted to get Resident Evil Revelations 2 is because it brought back Barry.
Okay.
Remember Barry?
Yeah.
He was MIA for years, and it kind of brings him back, and it explains why he was gone. And you start off as Claire, and then it switches over to Barry. You go back to Claire, and it is like sort of like a TV show type of format where previously on Resident Evil, and it gives you like a recap every time you start each episode. But since I had all the episodes, I went run after the other, after the other, after the other. But in Resident Evil Revelations 2's defense, it still had raid mode. So even though you were waiting for that next episode to come out, you had like raid/mercenaries mode to keep you to keep you busy. And you know that Mercenaries is its own full game, and you can spend hours.
How many episodes were there?
Each 5 episodes total, I think.
Okay.
But, each episode, you still played as both characters. So the first half of the episode, you'd play as one, and then you would play the other half to kind of... The stories eventually overlap, which is what I like about those type of stories, that you play one character, then you play the other, and then there's one point where they overlap, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is where this person was, this is where this person was. But also, it's kind of like a murder mystery where you see something that happens, but the other person doesn't know about it, so they kind of have to figure it out.
So in that instance, you didn't mind because they had other stuff to do as well.
Exactly. If I would have bought, and I thought about buying it when it first came out, but I forgot there was other games that I was playing. So when it was on sale and all the content was there, like skins, episodes, raid mode, and they gave you all the characters for raid mode.
How much? What do you remember? How much?
I think I bought it for $15. I think it was on sale for $15.
That's not bad.
And you get everything. It's even raid mode alone is worth $15.
Yeah.
Like the Mercenaries, that alone is worth $15. So in that instance, it worked perfectly because you had one mode that was pretty much standalone, but you're still waiting for the episodic content. Because let's face it, people buy it. I'm pretty sure people bought it just for raid mode, and they kind of skipped the story, which was really good, by the way.
Yes, I could see that. People just buying it for the raid mode.
Yeah, and Resident Evil Revelations 2 took place before Resident Evil 5. After 4, before 5.
Okay. Okay.
And it was interesting.
So in that instance, it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely works out. So if they are to do episodic content, I would like more games to... See, I don't know how it's going to work. Well, Telltale, unfortunately, isn't around anymore, but games like Life is Strange and Hitman, I'm pretty sure they have it figured out. But if you are to release episodic content, it can't be sort of a one-and-done deal because then you lose momentum, I think.
I mean, again, that's kind of the nature of the beast, and that's what that is.
I know.
So
either it is.
You're just gonna either suffer for a few months or wait for a bundle to buy it at the end.
Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the different form of the content being distributed because I'm always about content distribution. That for me, that's big.
Or different ways.
Or different ways to distribute content. I'm all about that. Even, like I said, I don't have a problem buying good DLC. I have no problem with it. Spider-Man, I'm eventually going to get the DLC, and that was 3 individual episodes. But, the big but, there's still the entire city of New York that you could swing around, do challenges. So there's still stuff to do in the midst of you waiting for those episodes. And remember, the first episode came out a month apart, I think. It was November, December, and January was September, October, November.
So they were pretty close.
They were pretty close. And I think that the last one ended in December. I'm sorry. But yeah, they were relatively close, but you still had all that other content in between.
Right.
So when and they say it's not a season pass, it's an expansion pass, but it was still kind of promoted as episode 1, 2, and 3, so on and so forth. But you had so much to do in between. So in that instance, episodic games, I'm all for it. And in that infrastructure, I would prefer more episodes to come out because the universe is so large. They're creating a new gaming universe, so it makes sense to release as many episodes as possible.
Yeah.
And the game is great, so people are going to buy it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
But then again, that's just me.
No, I agree. It depends on if the content is good, you'll pay for it.
Yeah. And speaking of Marvel, and speaking of episodes and seasons, I'm going to ask you, have you seen
a transition.
I know, what a transition. See, this is the things that I do.
Bravo.
Right? Talking about Marvel, seasons, episodes. Did you see The Punisher, the new season? Because I've been itching to talk about it, but nobody has seen it. So it's like a kettle. It's just building up, and I'm like, I can't talk about it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
And I'm not going to go on Facebook and be like, no, I'm not about that. I don't do that. Because guess what? I remember a lot of people did do that during The Walking Dead.
Yeah, they
just completely spoiled the episode.
I will unfriend you if I will unfriend anybody.
I believe it.
I've done it.
And I remember I asked you, what episode are you on? Because I do not want to spoil it for you. But now, since you've seen it, what did you think?
First, let's give a spoiler. We're going to spoil, if anybody's listening, we're spoiling full.
Spoiler for Season 1 and Season 2, and possibly some of the other Marvel properties, too.
We're going full Punisher.
Yeah.
I loved it, man. it's better than season one.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think John Bernthal did a
He's Frank.
fantastic job
He's
with not the Punisher, but sort of that duality of the Punisher and Frank Castle, because they're two completely different characters, like Batman and Bruce Wayne. There's that in this season, he's kind of accepted that he's the monster.
Yeah,
that he's the Punisher.
He fully embraces. I think there was one point where it's like, I forgot what it was, but this is what,
But at the same time, he himself feels like he needs to be punished as well.
Towards the end of the season, yeah, when when your favorite character comes back,
he tries to kill himself multiple times.
Right, and even when the cop comes in, he's on the hospital bed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the cop tries to murder him. He's like, yeah, he doesn't really fight.
No, he's like, go right ahead. And that's not the Punisher. That's Frank.
Yeah.
Because once he's the Punisher, even he says, I'm putting you down. Some people need to be put down. But my only complaint about the season was Billy Russo's arc.
What didn't you like about
Jigsaw? Well, first of all, I didn't like that he had 4 paper cuts on his face.
I know you complained about that the other day. I did. I liked it. I liked the look. I liked the character that is from Frank's past.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He did a phenomenal job, that whole not remembering and going crazy. But I think he did it. This has nothing to do with the actor's ability. No, he did a phenomenal job. The story, and they could have probably mangled his face a little bit more. Because Frank really messed him up at the end of season 1.
Yeah, you're right about that. It looked like he was going to have from the movie, it looked like we were going to see that.
Yeah, just put in a couple stitches, just move some skin around.
I liked it. I didn't. It was fine. In reality, I think that's what somebody would look like.
Okay, all right. That's in your defense. Okay, that's a good argument.
I don't think somebody's gonna look the face is gonna be all messed up and stuff. And he has money, so he can probably afford the good plastic surgery.
The one dude in the gym that got hit in the face with the barbell looked more like Jigsaw than Jigsaw did. That guy looked like Chunk from Goonies.
Yo, man, that was a brutal fight. That fight was hard.
And that just goes to show you how dangerous the Punisher is. Went in with no weapons. He went in himself. He knew what he was getting himself into.
He knew it,
and that's the thing. He's not going to put himself in a situation where he knows he can't get himself out of. And he went in there and used every single barbell. He messed them up. Oh my God! The last guy, the bald-headed guy who just kept getting hit in the face with the 25-pound plate. Oh man, that was rough. Even I was like,
his face open.
Even I was like, Jesus, Frank, enough. Like, okay, he gets the point. He's done.
And that's the same, not the same situation, because when he got ambushed towards the end.
Even when he got ambushed in the beginning, remember he was in the police station?
Okay, yeah.
That is a good display of somebody's tactical ability to get out of pretty much being surrounded. Even though did they show how he got out of the prison? Like how he actually got out and managed to flank them? Because I didn't see it.
No.
Okay. You know what? It's Punisher.
It's still marvelous.
Yeah. You got to suspend disbelief a little bit. But him being able to just
Well, that reminds me of the first season when he's in that forest.
That's right, yeah.
And they try to hunt him down, and
that has to be some sort of superpower because he gets himself out of every situation.
You think it's superpower?
Imagine
what
that.
Is it then? Like
it's just like he has luck.
Yeah. Superpower is luck.
Somehow he manages to get himself out. Because that's a perfect example. In season 1, he was in the forest, messed up, and he still managed to get out.
I mean, he's Frank. What are you gonna do? He was in Vietnam.
What did you think about John Pilgrim's character?
Oh, I told you yesterday. That's my favorite part of the season.
Really?
Yeah, I'll say that.
I don't know what it is about.
I love those type of characters. I don't know why. Not the white supremacists, but like
the religious type.
Yeah, that they twist religion into their own belief.
Right.
I don't know why. I find that so fascinating.
But it's not only fascinating, but it's creepy.
Yeah,
he goes around and then he's like, right before he kills you, he says some sort of verse from the Bible. That creeps me out.
And that weird voice that is calm,
that monotone voice. I don't know who that actor is.
Hat.
Yeah, I don't know who that actor is, but he did a phenomenal job as John Pilgrim.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say it. And that's my favorite part. And I love at the end, again, major spoilers, at the end, Frank, he tells him, and that's what I loved about, that was the biggest twist, too. Oh, for his son. And that shows you, he was going, you cannot put him down. Remember he got shot in the leg, he was all beat up at the end? He was not going down.
I think that scene in the junkyard, towards the very end, was a very powerful scene because remember, he asks him the question, oh, you've lost your family. What would you do if they were alive? And Frank kind of looks to the side, and then John Pilgrim's like, and this is why I'm here. They're both fighting for their call. Like, Frank Castle's trying to avenge his family, and John Pilgrim is trying to protect his family.
Right. And that was such an amazing twist at the end, because you think until that point, you think Pilgrim is with the I don't know what they are, those two, like the wife and husband.
Yeah, some very powerful, I think it's something to do with oil.
Yeah, it's always oil.
Yeah, and they're very powerful people with very powerful connections. So technically they were holding their family hostage.
They were, but up until that point, you think he's in league with them.
Well, I'm pretty sure not by choice, because the twist was he pretty much told him where they were, and then the girl, I keep forgetting what the girl's name is.
I'm saying up until the junkyard scene.
Oh, yes, he was aligned with them.
Yeah, that's what you thought until the junkyard scene when he told him, oh, I have 2 sons, and something like that. But, he told him why. Because even Frank, I think the episode before that, Frank said something like, oh, this guy won't, you won't die, or something like that.
Yeah, you just keep coming.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, that scene right there was just so powerful. And I think it adds a little bit more to it because I can relate. I have 2 sons. Yeah. So it kind of puts you in that position where you would probably do the same thing if you were put in that situation.
Yeah. And he was not going down.
Now, who was in the wrong? Neither one of them were in the wrong.
Yeah, it's just somebody turned, and his wife died towards the middle of the season.
Did they ever tell him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember the wife, he's in the hotel.
That's right. I completely forgot.
And whatever the rich wife, whatever, she comes and tells him.
What did you think about that whole arc between Russo and the therapist? Because to me,
I told you this yesterday.
to me, it seems like they were trying to go for the Joker Harlequin type of relationship.
Yeah, this is now we go from the best part to my least favorite part.
Yeah.
This was not. I was hoping they were not going this way, and they did. And I was hoping maybe she would realize at the end that he's crazy, or maybe he would kill her.
No, she's just as crazy as he is.
It's so, that fight, like, come on, man.
Which fight?
The one with Madani and
Agent Madani?
And the therapist. Madani's a cop.
Exactly.
And
I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad that you saw that, because I'm like, you have a therapist. Not unless. Remember, you have to suspend belief.
Okay.
Not unless Billy Russo trained her. Because remember, the Punisher trained the little girl.
But we never saw that, so I can't.
I know. You got to suspend disbelief a little bit.
Are we to believe that she's so crazy that she can go...
that she summons the power of a god or something?
Madani's part of the Homeland Security. She's like cop.
She's trained and she's been through hell, so she would know. And for her to get taken down by a therapist? Come on.
No, not really.
Well, yeah, but there was one point she almost got taken down.
Yeah. She cuts her in the face.
Exactly. And then she gets thrown out the window.
That was so ridiculous. And then she came back.
I honestly thought, well, was that, how many stories was that? It was like a 2-story fall?
Like 3 or 4. Because I think you could survive a 3-story fall. But on concrete?
anything over 2 stories is lethal.
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah. You've never been thrown off the side of the building before. And before you asked me that question, she hit the concrete face first.
Yeah, man. And at the end, she's fine.
She's fine, and she has a broken arm. Come on.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Russo she brought the flowers. Remember that part? Mm-hmm. And they were fighting at the same time. Do you think? Let's say Madani never goes to the therapist and they start fighting, right? Do you think Russo was okay at that point?
Remember,
like he was like, "Oh, I'm at peace with this."
I want to say yes, because he was thinking about he wasn't only thinking about himself when he gave all of his crew like the passports.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's like, these are my gift to you. Go find your own life, whatever. At that point, he probably knew if they continued this path, they were all going to die. And that's why he's like, I have something to live for.
Right.
So at that point, I think he knew that there's something to fight for, but not in the way that he's fighting. Right?
So he was, in your opinion, he was going to change his ways.
I want to say yes. I mean, all the evidence shows that he was on the turn. He was ready to, somehow he got better, and he knew he wasn't going to escape Frank. If he continued the way, he was going to confront Frank, but it wasn't going to end well. So he's like, maybe I have a good thing going. I'm not going to screw it up. I need to get out. Maybe he was doing better. I don't know. Maybe if he would have left with her, he would have gone crazy. He would have killed her. We don't know that. But I think all the evidence shows that he was finally thinking about somebody else besides himself.
And Frank.
And Frank. But and I don't like the way that he, once again, spoilers, that he died in a basement.
Oh.
Like there was no final fight. There was no...
Yeah. That was a little disappointing.
And he got killed by Madani.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's not the way I would have liked his character to end. Like, I would have liked for his character to survive because Jigsaw is such a staple in the Punisher series.
Yeah.
For him, and I think this goes more along the lines of Marvel doesn't know what they're going to do with the series going forward. So they kind of left it open-ended because if you see
not really go ahead.
The very last scene that you see when he's in the warehouse and the two gangs are arguing, and Frank is like, "Oh, I'll dance with you." That's kind of open-ended because even Frank said when he was talking to Madani was now with the CIA. I already have a job. I'm good. They kind of left it open-ended. Even if they don't continue with the show, you know that he's the Punisher. And if they do decide to continue with the show, they can just throw in another. They could throw in the Kingpin again if they really wanted to.
Well, she was in the desert.
Yeah, because she had that 1980s cellular phone with the big ass antenna.
To me, besides that one part that you're talking about, that she's in the desert and she's like, "Oh, I have a job for you." Besides that, I think they wrapped it up.
That's what I'm saying. They left it open-ended.
No, I don't think they did. Besides that one part. They killed off everybody. Jigsaw's dead. The Pilgrim is gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not gone. He's just...
But his war is over.
Exactly. His part is over. Madani's now with the CIA. Russo's gone.
There's two oil barons, whatever they are. They're dead.
Right. So yeah, in that aspect, they'd wrap it up.
Even whatever her name... I forgot her name.
Ashley? I want to say Ashley.
She looks like an Ashley. She went to Florida or whatever.
And one thing, too, and...
Oh, yeah.
You already know where I'm going with this. But by the tonal change in my voice, I do not like Karen Page's character.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Ashley.
No. Well, I'm going to get to her too because they kind of fall within that same category. Karen Page, her character annoys the hell out of me. She's one of those type of characters that is more problems than what she's worth. Okay, and this is going into the Daredevil season now. She single-handedly got so many people killed in that series. Because of her actions.
I agree with you. I don't agree with you that she's annoying. She didn't really serve any kind of purpose.
No, you tell her, don't do this. And she's like, I'm going to do this. No, it's like Carl. Remember Carl from The Walking Dead? Just stay where you are. Don't go and do something because you feel the need to. You feel the need because you surround yourself with superheroes that you yourself are a superhero. No, that's not how it works. Just stay still. And this goes into the whole that the girl, whatever her name was, Ashley.
Her name Amy.
Amy. Oh, there you go, Amy. Amy's character.
Close.
The Punisher gives her one self-defense class, and she feels like she can go take on an assassin by herself.
Oh, to be fair, he looked kind of like a douchebag. So.
Who?
Remember they were in that. I think they were in. She tried that move on him,
which backfired brilliantly. Like I'm pretty sure he. What's the term that he got a flashback?
Yeah.
And when he gets attacked, it's just a muscle reaction where he's in kill mode all the time.
No. She did the same move on I know what you're saying. In the trailer, she tried to move on him.
But she ended up doing it in the apartment with that one guy.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy's like, "Oh, you're not going to shoot me," and he ends up shooting her. She ends up shooting him.
Yeah, so it did work out somewhat.
But I like Frank's response. He noticed like she started panicking. He's like, "You didn't kill him. You just shot him." And then he shoots him. He's like, "I killed him."
Yeah.
You know, I like that sort of that little response to make it so like you're not a killer. Remember, I'm the killer, not you.
But she's not. But she's not a killer.
No, she's not. She's a con artist.
You're saying she should have been just that one move doesn't make you. I know what you're saying. That one move doesn't make you a superhero.
If she would have stayed in the trailer and she wouldn't have gone to go find John Pilgrim, she wouldn't have gotten caught.
But how long can you stay in that damn trailer?
Listen, if the Punisher tells you to stay put, I'm staying put. Let him go. Let him go deal with that. And then his friend,
Curtis.
Curtis, he goes and he gives away the senator.
Yeah, but I think at that point he was already kind of fed up.
Yeah.
Where's his wife? He mentioned a wife, and he never like. He has the best wife ever.
Yeah, you're right. He must have, because she ended up texting him, right? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought we had a good thing going or something.
Yeah, then when they were on the roof or something.
Yeah.
And he's like never home.
See, for me, I'm gonna go a little bold here. I still feel that the crossover season with Daredevil and Punisher is still my favorite season.
It's good. I'm not saying it was bad. It just, I think for Daredevil, season 3 is the best one.
Oh yeah, for that one, yeah, of course. But I'm talking about, since we're talking about the Punisher.
Oh, this to me is it. And I want to say it because of John Pilgrim.
So you think
I really like that character. I don't know why. Just
well, in the comic, a little fun fact: in the comic book, he is known as the Mennonite, and I think I pronounced it right.
Yeah.
But they kind of morphed his character, or they adjusted his character more for the television show. But his character does exist. Yeah, his character does exist in the comic, but it's under something else, and I think he lives with the Amish, I believe, and not some weird religious cult, which I still find it creepy. Like, I don't know what it is about involving religion and murder.
I just find that fascinating. I don't know why. I just find it so fascinating. Why
did you find that fascinating?
That character or this topic?
Just the topic. Mixing in religion with, now, was he trained properly? Like, that part I'm not sure of.
Well, if you saw, I think he was trained because, trained as far as, like, remember he was like a former white supremacist or something.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Remember he had the tattoos?
Right. You sure that it didn't look like a tattoo at first, but then there's that one scene where he's in the closet and he's beating himself to death?
Oh my god. I forgot about that.
He has the belt and he's just whipping himself. Which
he's not going, he's not going half-ass. He's
really going at it. He's like, he's not like, okay, no, he has the whole thing wrapped around his hand and he's winding up. I was like, Jesus, this guy's really hardcore.
Yeah, man. And what about when his former crew or whatever the fuck they are, they meet at the restaurant? Okay. And then he beats the shit out of them, like they gang up on him, and he just punches that guy like.
or when they managed to rescue the one girl from the prison, and she's like, "Oh, let me show you how we're gonna do it." And he's like, "Oh, show me again." And in the midst of her, like, he just chokes her out.
Yeah. What did you think of the early on? Where did you think they were going with when Frank meets the woman in the bar?
I'm surprised that they didn't continue that arc, because it almost seems like there was a sense of normalcy in his life. He finally found something that, all right, I can settle, like kind of like what Billy Russo had with the therapist. He finally found something like, okay, this is normal. I don't have to hide. But then, of course, he's always in Frank mode. He needs to help, and he saw what happened, and he in that scene in the bathroom when he beat the snot out of the. Now listen. I found that scene. Should I be watching this? Because I almost felt a little.
Did you get a little uneasy?
Yeah, I was a bit uneasy because he beat the crap out of those two women.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of them.
No, we're not talking about like he threw them and no. He treated them like men.
Well, he threw one through the door or something, through the entire stall.
That just, you know what? That was a pretty good throw too, because I don't know if you knew, but remember the one scene where he taped up his hand.
Yeah.
He actually broke his hand during filming.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know
That's not a prop. He actually broke his hand in that bathroom scene.
That's the dedication that John worked on.
Yeah, he wanted to do all of his own stunts, and unfortunately, he got a little too into it, and he broke his hand.
I was worried for a minute because that tape, his taped hand, that was for like 2 episodes, right?
Yeah, that was
2 or 3. I'm not sure, but
I think it was like 2. I think it was 2 episodes, but he did manage to use it to his advantage because it steadied his aim.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I hope we're not gonna have that hand like that for the rest of the show.
No, they got rid of it, and you pretty much didn't notice. But
wow, so they actually included that into the show.
Yeah.
Cool.
They worked it in as a legitimate injury.
Right.
But it really was a legitimate injury, and I appreciate their attention to detail. But man,
so you thought, you thought somehow he was gonna find some kind of normalcy with that wife, that woman from the bar.
Yeah, I thought so because the son gravitated towards him. He wasn't as standoffish as how he was in the first season. Remember when he, Micro's wife?
Yeah.
He was still a little standoffish, but not with this woman because, let's face it, he still seeks that type of relationship with a normal relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's not going to be able to find it. And he came so close, but you know what? Like Madani said, Frank, just being Frank.
But it's interesting they didn't really continue that.
I would have liked to see him go back.
Right at the end, like maybe at the end,
and because she was in the hospital the last time we saw her.
Right.
And they just forgot about her. I'm like, man, that really sucks.
I mean, I guess I think Frank at that point, he's like, I'm the Punisher, and that's it.
Yeah, but man, that bathroom scene was rough.
Yeah, man.
I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet, but for some strange reason, just seeing a man just go absolutely buck wild.
He didn't hold back, man.
He did not hold back. And I don't mean to get like political, but do you think people are gonna like, oh, it's a man beating up a woman and all this other stuff? And it's like, because even I thought I was like, man, I'm surprised they didn't. There's not like a hashtag somewhere. Punisher's already canceled anyway, so.
Well, I mean, it's not even yet. It will be. We know that, but not officially yet.
Can you imagine in the boardroom, right? It's like, oh, we don't know if this scene's gonna go well. Frank beating up women, and there's that one guy's like, we're canceled anyway, so we might as well go all out. And the guy's like, you know what? All right, approved.
What do you think about before the show came out? I heard like this big political kind of like, I mean, about like there's like soldiers and PTSD and all that. But
I think I did remember. I remembered reading something about it that I don't want to say glorifying, but they're making light of what real PTSD is.
What do you think about that angle?
It sucks because I support our veterans wholeheartedly. I do believe that they get treated very poorly. That when they come back, they're pretty much thrown out on the street. And you can tell by when Billy Russo meets the one guy in the bar.
Yeah.
And he knows he's Billy Russo, and he's like, oh, it's an honor to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
That right there, him not feeling accepted, looking for a place to belong, that's what real military people go through. It's difficult to sort of, I don't think they're making light of it. I think they're really tackling it head on like they did in the first season.
Right.
With the one character, I forgot what his name was. He was like the bomb.
Like some radical.
Yeah, he was a radical. And that sort of stuff does happen. So I don't think they're trying to publicize it or they're trying to make light of it. They're just really trying to tackle a very, very sensitive topic. But you know what? It's one of those things where you have to see it head on. You can't kind of beat around the bush a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm glad they brought it up. I don't think they're making light of it. And I think more TV shows need to sort of touch on these topics because I feel like PTSD, child abuse, all this other stuff, like it doesn't get mentioned because they're taboo topics.
Yeah.
But once you see it, it's like, okay, in the scope of the series, it makes perfect sense because these are guys that are coming back for more. They are having a difficult time adjusting. Even if they're going to therapy, they're still not going to be able to be 100%. So they often get themselves into trouble because they're looking for that. They're looking for that place to belong.
Yeah, and that's what Billy.
That's what Billy gave them. He gave them a purpose. Because remember, none of those guys had any relationships with anybody else. Once Billy found his calling for the relationship with the therapist, everything changed.
Yeah, he was like, oh, okay. He almost was like, oh, see you guys. Like,
Yeah, he kind of bounced on them. He's like, right, this is my gift to you. I'm out. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, like that? Like her stuff must be good in order for him to just turn like that.
You know, man, you know what they say about psychos.
Man, I was like, whoo, she must have put it on him.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. Once he kind of found his thing, he was out. But you're right. I mean, they did tackle it best there. The military's always been part of the Punisher as well.
Right.
All the stories, and it's always been like a underlying thing for Frank.
I really want them to bring it back. I don't know how they're going to bring it back, but I really hope they bring it back, because for John Bernthal to perform and give his best only for it to be canceled, it's like, that's such a shame. It's such a waste.
Yeah, but we could say that about all these, all the shows that have been canceled so far.
Right. No, yeah. I agree. I definitely want to see how they're going to bring it back.
Like Daredevil, that's Luke Cage. That's Luke Cage. So
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but this season was the best season. I don't want to say the best season of all the Marvel shows.
But it's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Do you think this is the best iteration of Frank?
As far as the Punisher himself, the way he carries himself, his pain, his alcoholism, I do feel that John Bernthal is the Punisher. But if we're looking at the appearance, the look, I still think Ray Stevenson looks like the Punisher. But he lacked that depth that John Bernthal brings to the character. I still think John Bernthal is now the Punisher.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I agree with you.
What about you?
No, I agree. I almost agree with everything that you said. Like, Stevenson looks better.
Yes, and don't get me wrong, Tom Jane did a great job.
Yeah,
but there was just something missing. He was almost too cold. Like he was emotionless.
Yeah, Bernthal. But you're right. Bernthal is Frank.
And it's a shame because although Ray Stevenson did look like the Punisher, the script was just terrible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was all right. It wasn't terrible. The movie is serviceable
compared to this season. Come on.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a movie just to put in the background.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But it's not. I've seen a lot worse. I really recommend. I really hope somehow we get more of this. I don't know how they're gonna do it, or I'm assuming any minute now we'll hear the cancellation. But
do you see? Right, and I'm gonna ask you one question before we wrap it up. Do you see a Punisher game anywhere in the future?
Not really. What can they do? Like, besides, like what he does?
Because I really do feel like we're overdue for one.
We are, but what can they do? Like, what besides a first-person shooter? Like,
well,
a third-person shooter?
They could do a third-person open world somehow. But then again, this is the reason why we're not in the video game development.
I just don't. Unless the mechanics of killing are so good. I mean, let's not go around it. I mean, Frank is not Spider-Man.
No, and that's the point that I'm trying to get to. Is it's a dark franchise. It's a dark license. Is Disney gonna really allow to go that dark?
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, Frank beating up women in the bathroom. I think that's the limit right there.
It's probably pushing it, but I don't see why we wouldn't see that, or a continuation of the show. That's what I'm assuming. That's what we're all assuming is going to happen when this new service comes out from Disney.
It'll be interesting to see how they manage that.
Even if they do, what if they just decide, oh, we're not going to do it?
Yeah, that could be a possibility as well.
That's leaving money on the table, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. But we've come to that point in the episode where it's time for us to say our goodbyes. So go ahead, visit us on www.levelbasedgaming.com.
Follow us on Twitter, follow us on podbean.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
My name is Felipe Parada, and the other guy is Oscar Portillo.
And we're out.